In this video, we are going to take a look at string formatting in Python. Now, string formatting is the process of creating strings with dynamic content. And we do this by substituting placeholders within our strings with values. And these could be values from variables, expressions, or formatted text within a string template. The easiest way to visualize this is to head over to PyScripter and let's get through some examples. Let's start with a few variables. City equals Dublin. Country equals Ireland. Longitude equals minus 6.2603. And latitude equals 53.3498. We'll first have a brief look at an old style of string formatting that isn't really around in Python 3 but was prevalent in Python 2. We'll create a variable called text and we'll set this to equal our quotes. We're going to start this with a percentage sign followed by an S. Now this defines a string. We'll then say is the capital of, and we'll use another string. These are placeholders. We're going to substitute in city and country for those two placeholders with GPS coordinates of. Now we want our longitude and our latitude. Here we will use %.2f. That is basically saying we're going to use a float with 2 decimal places followed by another float of 2 decimal places. After the ending quote, we're going to put a space, followed by the percentage sign, another space, and parentheses. Within these parentheses, we're going to put city, country, longitude, and latitude. Basically what's going to happen here is that it's going to take the variable city and put it in for the placeholder at our first percentage sign. It'll then take country and put it in for our second percentage sign. It'll take longitude and put it in for our third, and latitude in for our fourth. Now with longitude and latitude, we are doing some formatting by saying we only want 2 decimal places. Let's run and have a look. We've executed that line of code and now we print text to screen. And we can see Dublin is the capital of Ireland with GPS coordinated, should be coordinates of minus 6.26 and 53.35. So we can see how we've formatted that string using placeholders and values. Just to reiterate, this is outdated and you should not use this string formatting process. I just wanted to show you in case you ever came across this in older scripts. Let's take a look at the format method associated with a string object. I'm going to copy this text variable and paste it down because I don't want to type it all out again. I will fix coordinated to coordinates. I'm going to remove the percentage signs and put in curly braces for each one instead. I'll also remove the percentage sign after our string literal, and I'm going to go with dot and format. And inside the parentheses for our format, I will leave our 4 variables. By using the string.format, we are going to replace each curly braces with a variable from the format parameters. City will go into the first, country will go into the second, longitude into the third, and latitude into the fourth. We'll execute that line of code and print text to screen. And we can see we get our sentence. The curly braces were placeholders and they were replaced with values from our variables. Let's look at another example. This time we want to reuse one of our variables within the sentence. I'll click up twice. I'm going to put a 0 into the first one, 1 into the second curly braces, 2 into the third, and 3 into the fourth. Now I'm also going to extend this string. I'm going to put in a full stop. I'm going to say the river Liffey runs through. Now I want to put Dublin in here, so I'm going to reuse 0. Where am I getting these from? Remember, zero-based indexing. From our format call here, city is 0, country is 1, longitude is 2, and latitude is 3. So I'm reusing index 0, which is city, for this placeholder here. We'll hit enter and we'll print the text to screen. And we can see this time that we reused Dublin twice. Don't worry about these parentheses here. It just seems to what happens when you reuse a placeholder and don't use the print function. If I put in print text, we can see that it prints out just fine. Another alternative is to use named placeholders. So we've just seen index-based placeholders. Now we're going to take a look at named placeholders. I'm going to copy our text variable and just make a few alterations. Instead of using indexes, I'm going to use named parameters. So I'm going to put city in here, country. Actually, I won't put in country. I'll just put in insert value. I'll change the index 2 here to long and 3 to lat. And I also want to reuse city. Now I'll remove these parameters. So what we need to do now is name our parameters based on the placeholder names. So I'm going to put in city equals. Now I want city to equal the city variable. So I'll put in city. For insert value, I'm going to use the country variable. For long, we're going to set that equal to longitude. And for lat, we'll set that equal to latitude, not minus, equal latitude. So what will happen here is our format method is going to see that we have a placeholder here for a city parameter. It'll look for the city parameter and supply in the value of city, which is our city variable, which is Dublin. It'll then look for the insert value parameter, which we have insert value, and that is our country variable, which is Ireland, and so forth for our long parameter and our lat parameter, which will insert longitude and latitude. We are of course reusing the city parameter again at the end of the string, and we will print to screen, and we can see that this has formatted our string using named placeholders. The last string formatting we're going to look at is called formatting string literals, and this came in at Python 3.6. We do not need to use the format method from a string object. Instead, we can place the character F in front of our string and use curly braces and supply in our variable names. So let's have a look. We'll write out our text variable again. We'll use double quotes, and in front of the double quotes, I'm going to put an F. This is going to indicate that it is a formatted string literal. I'll start with curly braces and put in our city variable. What do you think is going to go in there? Dublin, of course. We'll say is the capital of, now some more curly braces, and we want to put in country, of course, with GPS coords of longitude, and some more curly braces with latitude. And we'll just show that we can reuse a variable. So we'll say the river Liffey runs through, and we're going to reuse our city variable. It doesn't ruin Dublin. Well, that's debatable whether it ruins it or not. It runs through Dublin. Now we can execute our line of code, and we'll print the text to screen. And we can see we get our lovely formatted output. In this video, we took a look at formatting strings in Python. We first saw the old school way, which is not recommended to use anymore, but you may come across it in older Python scripts. The format method available with a string object presents three choices for using that format method. We can simply use curly braces, we can use curly braces with index values, or we can use curly braces with named placeholders. We then saw that we can use formatted string literals by placing an F in front of our string and then supplying in placeholders with our variable names wrapped in curly braces. Now, the choice of formatting is up to you, but I would recommend to be consistent with what you use. I personally like using the format method with the placeholders using the positional index, and this is because this is what I latched onto years ago when I started to learn Python. The formatted string literals weren't around back then, so my recommendation to you would be to use the formatted string literals approach going forward. It is very clear and neat with what is going on. We've really touched on the basics of string formatting. It is something that you can spend a lot of time on to do more advanced formatting with your string outputs. So make sure to constantly update your reference workbook with anything new that you come across in the future relating to string formatting.